Now we have getters and setters. Notice that we keep writing information about the dice. We keep having to put a label and write the values. So one more common thing to do in a class is give it the ability to write itself out. Since we're creating a new data type, it may look really different for each thing. How do you write a dice out? And so as you write these, then you have to come up with, you have to figure out what do you want that to look like, right? So another method would be to write. Now this one wouldn't return anything. One way you can do it is you return a string and then let them write it out. The way we're going to do it is we're going to let them send us an output stream and we're actually going to just write to it. So let's just write a dice. And what information are we going to need? So we need to, if we go here and look, there's just label. We don't need to know what that is. We can make up the label. We need to know the value and the size. We have access to those directly, so we don't need those. What we do need is what stream you want to write it to, right? Because programs that use this, some might be using console output, where they're doing everything through the console. Others might be using a file. So we want to allow whoever uses this class to choose where they're writing to. So the part that we're going to make difference is what they write to. So we'll just simply say OStream. We'll do an OStream object. Notice that it's not recognizing it. So we can use, we'll have to pound include that class or that header file so that it knows so we'll use fstream so it recognizes that data type. So we want to use OStream and put the namespace std in front of it. And when we pass OStream to functions or methods, we need to pass it by reference because the method's going to make a change. If it writes to that stream, that changes it, and we want that change to be reflected. And now we can give it whatever name we want right here. Okay, so this is the declaration of that method, and we can put them right there together. And then let's go ahead and do and implement it. So dice, : and we want to do the WriteDice. And what do we want to do? We want to use whatever stream they send to us, and we want to print. And let's go ahead, and here again, this is a new data type. We can make it any way we want. So I'm going to set it that we'll just say, this is a dice with, and here we want to put the number of sides. And we have direct access to that. Dice with number, and remember we have to put the sides. I'll remember that, last time I forgot that. With however many sides. And sides and a value of, and here I can print that. And a value of value. And then we can decide, do we want this to be a full sentence? And that way we put a period on the end of it. And do we want to do an endl or leave that up to the user to put an endl if they want it? If they might want to put it in a paragraph and then they wouldn't want the endl. So I'll leave the endl up to them. Now in main, we can access that WriteLine method. So instead of having to rewrite everything, we can just simply say, I want to write the dice. So I can say, oh, I'm going to leave an endl before, so we separate it from the previous line. And then let's call it on my first dice dot WriteLine. And so this one, WriteDice. And we'll say, oh, I want to do it to standard out, so I'll just send it cout. And now let's run it and see how it works. Notice how that was really easy to write from a coder's perspective. It's like, okay, I can use dice and I can just call that, call that method and it'll just write the dice out. What does it say? Dice with 8 sides and a value of 1. So there's a way to write, and choosing what you write can vary. Like you might want to say, oh, I just want to do value of 1, or I want to do 8 sides, value of 1, comma. So a lot of variety of ways. There's no set way when you're creating a new data type. There's no this is for sure how you write it. Some are more obvious than others, and some you just really get to pick how you're going to write them. But you just provide a way for the user then to be able to write out the information about the object.